Welcome to Mountain Man Explore the Truth. How is everyone doing today or tonight, depending on the time you're listening to the podcast? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be welcoming on the Lost Frequency podcast. Those guys are some cool dudes. It'd be Rye and Tom. Those guys got some interesting experience and encounters they share with us today on the show. So stay tuned for that. Today I wanted to go through a few things because I know I didn't drop an episode last Sunday. I apologize. I'm going to probably move my drop day on a different day with my new schedule and my job. My days off vary on different days, so I'm trying to get used to the schedule of it and figure it out because it could change in a month. So I'm hoping it's set because I get more time off now. I work 12-hour shifts. Well, I'm not going to go into complete detail, but I do work some long shifts, but I do get longer weekends. So I'm available to bring people on anytime, and I'll be sure to announce on my group page or any other group page to have people come on and let them know what days I'm available to bring them on. I got some people lined up, but we keep getting into a problem where they're too busy one day and I'm too busy because I'm working or whatever. It's a battle to get people on the show. So I'm a little behind on some episodes to bring up, but hey, it's all right. I'll drop one when I can, and I'll sometimes come on just to talk about how far I've gotten so far with this. And I'm really enjoying it and like to get back on the game and get into the show and tell the truth and get the people out there that want to tell the truth, and it's awesome. So it's gonna be a battle, guys. So bear with me. It doesn't mean I'm giving up on my show. I'm keeping it going. You might hear an episode not drop one week. It might be a next week, it might be a week after, who knows? It just all depends on who's coming on the show and the time of editing. And editing doesn't take that much time the way I do my show. I try to keep it simple editing, keeping it raw and real. Just clean it up a little bit is all I do. And depending on what day I want to drop it, I might change my drop day from Sunday to Tuesday or Friday. Depends on what day I can get in. I got to get some material built back up is what it is too. So bear with me, guys. More show to come. Help share the show and get more people to come on. That really will do me a big, huge favor if you would share the show. And if anybody out there has had an encounter or experience of anything weird or conspiracy theory stuff, you're more than welcome to come on the show. Don't be shy. You just come on and be you and tell the truth. And nobody's there to judge you. It's your show to tell your story. So you're more than welcome to come on. So if you had an encounter, any weird experience or conspiracy stuff, please email me at mountainmanett@gmail.com. Again, mountainmanett@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook and private message me and look up Blake Botel. Last name is spelled Botel. You're more than welcome to private message me on there, and I'll keep an eye out for it. And I do have a group page on there. You're more than welcome too. So today we're going to be welcome on the Lost Frequency podcast. Really cool dudes. They started their show around the same time. They're basically the same kind of platform as mine, but a little bit different. I got mine a little different. Theirs is a little different. We're going different directions in a way, so it's just kind of similar. So, and I like their setup is awesome. So definitely check them out, guys. You can find them on a lot of podcast platforms and YouTube. And that's what I'm working on too next. I got some issues with uploading right now, and I'm going to get that resolved and get my YouTube channel going as well. I've had it for a couple of years and just used it because I was doing Mountain Man Explore the Truth for other things on there, looking into the cryptid. But kind of gave up on it for a bit, but I'm going to bring it back to life because why not put the podcast on there as well? So, well, no further ado, guys, let's bring them right on. So today we welcome on Rye and Tom. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, Blake.
Great to be here, Blake. Thanks.
Yeah, it's about time, huh?
I know we've been trying to get this, get on your show here for quite some time. Our schedules haven't been lining up, but today, well, here we are.
Yeah. And we had a little bit of technical difficulties. We're like, an hour and a half late, but we're here.
Yeah. It's on both sides, right? It was mostly me.
Nah, no worries. It's all, it's new stuff. It's new technology. We're all just trying to get to learn it. And sometimes there's a couple of hurdles or some learning curves.
Yeah.
That's right, man. That's what it's about. You learn as you go. So, hey, guys, why don't you go ahead and put your input and tell people about yourself and your show and...
Well, all right. Well, we started just about the same time as you there, Blake. I know we were talking back and forth, um, and we kind of follow the same format, but we're different. It's like you're a one man show doing it all by yourself, which we applaud that. Where it's just for us, it's Tom and I, and we do UFOs, we do aliens, we do conspiracies, we do
Paranormal,
Bigfoot.
everything under the sun, actually.
Yeah, pretty much everything under the sun, and we can be found on any of your major platforms, just like yourself. Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Podcast Addict.
Yeah.
And then you can find us on our Facebook page at the Lost Frequency Podcast. And then also we have a YouTube.
We have a YouTube channel. It's also called the Lost Frequency Podcast. And we just started a TikTok too, right?
Yeah, we're on TikTok as well now. We thought we'd give that a shot. And it's going well. It's going well. But, to see if the numbers actually transfer over to actually gaining listeners on Spotify, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you guys are doing really well. I'm going to have to get into it myself a little more, get more, social media going and get my YouTube channel going. I've had a YouTube channel for quite a while. I just never thought about using it, and it's the same name, created about a year ago, and I'm like, I better just put it on there.
Yeah, we're just using it as we're here, and you can I just use basically pictures and different pictures of where I am or different things that Rye made or pictures of us, so that the people get to see what we look like, and then that'll bounce traffic back and forth between one place to the other. We're just trying to get ourselves out there as much as we can.
Well, you guys are doing well. I see a lot of people joining your group. I'm still working on mine. I need to go and explore a little more out with it and focus on it as well.
Yeah, but from what I hear, though, you're doing pretty good on Spotify, though. So that is fantastic.
Yeah, like I told you in the message there, make some stickers. I've been handing them out to people at work at my last job, and then people in town, and I'll tell you what, I think it helped a little bit because I keep telling them, hit that follow button, because a lot of people don't hit it. So you got to get them focused to hit that button and download the episode before they listen to it.
I agree. Yeah, they hit that follow button. That's actually one thing we haven't been doing. Actually, telling people to hit the.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
We're there.
Yeah, we haven't actually told people to hit the follow button. Oh, we can still hear you. We can still hear you though.
You guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're here. Check.
Okay, you're back. Sweet.
Yeah, we lost you for a second too.
What's awesome about recording?
That's right.
It happens. I was saying, you were saying that, to hit that follow button, that's one thing we haven't been saying, haven't been telling our listeners, hit that follow button. It's one thing just to listen to the podcast, but it's another thing to actually get them to follow.
We literally told them everything. We told them to use carrier pigeons and smoke signals, but no, not to follow.
Well, guys, that's the key. I learned, from listening to other podcasters, I always hear them say, hit that button, and I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Because I catch myself doing it. Sometimes I don't hit the follow button or download. I just listen to it.
You're right.
And you know what? It really does affect the show. So you got to make sure you hit that follow. I'm glad we're talking about it, because it's whoever's listening to this episode will really understand. Just hit that follow button, rate it and, share it.
I agree totally. And unfortunately, where you're able to get the, your the boots on the cement, we can't necessarily do that where we are, because we're in Mexico, and since our podcast is in English and 95% of the people here speak Spanish, we got a little bit of an issue there. So, we are looking at other avenues of maybe, finding some of our hardcore listeners who want to step up and maybe hand out some stickers or something like that, and we could order them and send them to them.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, Rye or Tom, you can message me privately. Send me some of those stickers and I'll hand them out.
There you go.
Well, we definitely appreciate that, yeah, you're a solid guy, Blake. That's one thing I think Tom and I both agree on, that you're a solid guy, that we both, you speak from the heart, you speak the truth. That's just fantastic.
That's what I've been trying to do, man. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get people on, and you get a hit and miss with it. Some people want to come forward and some people don't. You just got to keep at it.
True. Yeah, I mean, Rye was going so far as like, in the future when these podcasts both do, better and we're getting better numbers. Hey, Tom, would you take a trip to Oregon and have Blake show you some Bigfoot? I was like, sure.
And I was
Yeah,
also
it's been pretty active over here lately. I'll tell you that.
Really?
I was also thinking
Yeah.
that maybe in the future, we could create some sort of conference like where it's the Mountain Man and the Lost Frequency join together to create some sort of event where we could, I don't know. I just see these other people putting on these events, and they have all these people come out and speak, and I think it'd be a fantastic opportunity and a great time.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome because a lot of podcasters are all about themselves, if you notice out there. And
Yeah.
I don't think it should be like that. I think you should make friends into into this, because it just helps share and, it's into the same thing, we're trying to get to the truth. So,
Exactly, 100%. We can do this together. It's not like we flying out solo and trying to, I don't know. It's not like you're our competition. We're doing this together. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like a human nature kind of thing that I never quite understood. Is like this crabs in a bucket mentality. Like, oh, I'm Bigfoot on this side, and it's a blood and flesh creature. No, it's a interdimensional being. It's like, dude, like just relax and let's have a civil conversation. But just people, they don't want to do that, and it's just and in these situations, like we're trying to find some type of answer about what these things really are, and like no one, not no one, but there's you were right about that, Blake. There's a lot of people who they just want to be about themselves and want to just talk about the way they see it and everyone else's, and I just think that's always the wrong way to go about these kind of things.
I agree with you 100%, man. It's just, we just got to come out with our format, which you guys are doing great on yours. And I was like, man, you guys are definitely got the professional, attitude to it. It's really good. So I really enjoy it.
Well, then we're doing something wrong because we're not trying to be professional.
I was gonna say, have you heard this? Have you heard this?
What I mean by the professional is that you guys are doing really good on advertising, good logos, and good pictures on there, and you guys are just doing really good. Coming out there talking to your, the person you're interviewing. So it's really good. I was like, damn.
You understand, Blake? I'm a lot like you. I'm very non-tech savvy. Without Rye, I would be lost. I have ideas. I'd be like, hey, Rye, let's do this. And he's like, oh, that's great. Thanks, Tom. Here's something 1,000 times better.
Well, he creates the idea, and then he gives me this raw idea, and then I refine it and create it. So we're a good team because he's like, here. He gives me the raw material that he's kind of said, this is what we're doing. And then I just kind of like, okay, let me go with it. And here we go. But the thing is, though, is that we're working well together. And I think we have a good synergy working together.
I was going to go with rapport, but that's good.
Yes. Yeah, you guys got good energy. So that's what's important.
Definitely.
Well, we also try to make it like, a lot of these experiences for these people it can be very traumatic. And I always try to give it some levity, try to break the uncomfortableness and let the people know, like, we're with you and we understand your situation. And when you do that, you'll see a lot of people really lighten up and like they'll start telling, like we had this one gentleman on, he was like, I don't really have any personal stories. And he was just, talking about his book and everything. And I'm former military. And then somehow that came up and he was former military. Next thing you know, he had a UFO sighting on the back of a ship going over to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And we're like, hey, George, like, what was this? And then, so like, I think.
And that's when he also went from there. Then he's told us about his near death experience. And it's like, once you get them opened up and comfortable, then they just start to, tell you these stories that are just mind blowing and amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of something that
that's what I noticed too. That's what I noticed too. I talked to a few people that won't come on the show. I really wish they would. They're definitely dealing with some traumatic stuff, and they're not ready to come on. There's about three, two gals and one guy. It's all Bigfoot encounters too. I don't know what it is. I've been getting a bunch of Bigfoot encounters, which is fine. That's what I'm really into too. But I like to get more material out there, like get more information and find out what people are seeing with UFOs and paranormal, ghosts and all that stuff.
Well, if you want, we could pass on some of our stories that some of the stuff that we've actually experienced ourselves with UFOs and paranormal with you to you.
Yeah, that's why I want you guys to go right on ahead, and you know what? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
All right. Looks like Tom's pointing at me, so just give me 1 second.
Sure.
All right, Rye.
All right. Okay. So I'm going
Let's hear
to
it.
I'm going to go with my my.
You know what's great?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's great is that we're having a good time podcast. We're just BSing, and we're just gonna go into some stories. You guys already heard mine, and I've been ready to hear yours as well.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Actually, I love that we have this good rapport and this good camaraderie friendship. I think it's fantastic. Like I want to see you succeed as much as I want us to succeed. It's and I love that. And I love that and you have the same attitude as well. It is fantastic.
Right on. Let's hear it.
Okay, yeah, I'll get to it. Here we go. So I was living in northern Mexico and the state of Chihuahua, and I went grocery shopping. It was midday, so I'm going to say about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I know I said midday, so I guess it's close to midday. And I step out of the grocery store with all my groceries, and I look up in the sky, and off in one direction, I see this white pulsating object. And to say pulsating, it was like maybe like a plasma changing shape and just kind of undulating and changing shape up in the sky. And I'm sitting there with my cart of groceries and I'm like, what is this? And the rest of the world is just going on. Everybody is doing their thing and there is just me and there's probably like hundreds of people in this area and I'm watching this and I'm like, why doesn't anybody else see this?
Does it feel like did it feel like the time slowed down?
I would say so. And I had my phone, but my phone wasn't the best phone. So instead of video, like I tried taking pictures and videoing, and it was too far, and it was in the middle of the day, and it was a white object in the blue sky. Could not see it. So I called my wife. And I'm like, "You'll never believe what I'm looking at right now." And so I'm telling her that I see this thing. Then I look way over. We'll say like almost 180 degrees, and I see these two black small objects. And they're in a intersect pattern, kind of like triangulating and intersect. And they're little, like I can't make it out what type of object they are, other than they're a black object. And they're at I don't want to say a collision course. They're going to hit each other the way that they're coming together. And then I look back, and then I see this other object. So then this white undulating object. Then I look back, and as I look back, they're just one object now. There's only one object. And I'm sitting there and like it can't be a plane, because these two black objects cannot be a plane. There was no contrail or chemtrail, whatever you want to call it there, on either of these, and they joined together. Then I'm like, okay, and this as they came together, they kind of then this one object now is going towards where this white undulating object that I saw in the sky. Now I look back because, like I said, I cannot keep my eyes on both. I have to kind of turn side to side. As I'm doing it right now in person. I don't know why I'm doing that, but
it helps.
I'm giving visualizations.
He likes to.
You're reliving it.
No, he likes to pantomime.
You're reliving it.
Exactly. So, but when I look back, though, this white object, whatever it was, is gone, completely gone. There's nothing there anymore. So then I go back to this object that is. It's not moving fast. It's not moving. I would say it's moving almost slower than a regular plane. And it's just slowly traversing across the skyline. And it's going. And I'm on the phone with my wife while this is happening. And I would say this took about 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes to watch this thing go across the skyline. And that was my UFO type experience that I have no idea what they were or what it was. So I saw this stuff and I ended up using my phone to take panoramic pictures because it could do that. So you
guys.
Oh, we're still here.
Hello.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
Oh,
I hear you. Keep going.
no problem. So my phone was still able to actually do panoramic pictures. So I was able to do panoramic pictures, put these pictures together, and draw out both trajectories of all these objects. So I was able to have this, and I'll send that to you so you can take a look at it. I don't know, you can put it on your Facebook and have a look at it. So that is
I
my.
got to put it on ours too.
I will now that
Yeah,
now
there
that
you
I'm
go.
doing this. Yes. So that is my my UFO, my one UFO experience, and I don't know, Tom. Do you want to? We'll swap.
Maybe I
Swap
think
it
he's
up.
gonna have. You got any questions about it? Because that's the first time I heard it too, Blake. You have any questions?
Well, did it look like it all combined together, or
Well,
it was just all like disappearing?
so the two combined together, the two black objects combined, and again, I didn't actually see them go together because I was swapping back and forth. So they were coming together, like I could see them that they were triangulating and going on an intersect course, and it was like back and forth, looking at this one. Okay, I see this one. Now I move back, and then it was one object. So I never actually saw them combined and form into one. But at that point, when I look back, there was only one object, and then like if these two combined into this like if they joined, they both changed course to continue on like if one was coming out at 45 and the other was coming out at 45, then they kind of made it in at a 180. I don't know.
A
Is
90?
it a 90?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, 45, and then they like continued on the 90-degree angle across the whole horizon. And I, like I said, I'm standing in the middle of the parking lot with all my groceries wondering, what is this?
Did you remember to get the milk?
Oh yeah, I got the milk.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I've heard similar stories from other people, and I've seen it on TV that people describe the same thing that you saw. I definitely believe you saw some kind of UFOs going on.
I definitely like, and I agree. I saw something. What it was, I have no idea, because every time I've heard people talk about it, they're like, "Oh, it's like so fast, and it moves so fast." That is one thing I've seemed to heard consistently, is that it moves so fast. These objects that I was seeing were not. They were moving slower than anything you would imagine. They were moving very slow, and that object was almost floating in the sky. That white object that I saw before, it was moving very slowly, and it was just kind of pulsating and moving slowly. It was extremely strange. And maybe when I glanced over at the two objects, and when they formed one, when they were back to this one, maybe that other object that disappeared completely, maybe that did shoot up out of the sky or something like that. I have heard, our Patrick, one of our guests, he talked about how this object just flew so fast, and it was like almost through a portal. It left.
It went through a slit in the sky.
A slit in the sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I seen that. All I saw was it was there, and then
weird.
like right away it was gone. When I look back, it was completely gone. There was not a sign of it or anything.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, what do you got?
Different.
It's going to Tom, or got more?
Yeah,
What's
that
up?
was all right. Yeah, so
It's Tom's turn now. Tom, we're going to swap back and forth. We're going to do like kind of tennis. I'm going to serve it back to him.
Tom, let's hear
yeah,
it.
we're gonna do some Wii Sports.
Hey, that works. I love it. It works.
Yeah, so I used to live in Germany, and I was in a band, and we were going to try to record an album like over the weekend for like 2 days, like going to hit it like 8 hours a day. So we recorded, got some mics and all this stuff, and like between one of the songs where we took a break and grabbed something to eat or something to drink, we were sitting on this couch in this old building in Germany where I was living, and the building was called a Power Tower, and that's where there was like 30 bands in there. So we were on like the third floor of a 4-story building, and so there's a hallway, and in this hallway there's a door, separating like one half of the hallway from another half of the hallway, and on the left and right there's different band rooms. And down the bottom of this hallway, at the end of this hallway, better said, you make a right turn, and then you make another right turn, and that's where we were. So I'm sitting on the couch looking out the door, and the door was open into the hallway, and you can see the light in the hallway, but the rest of the hallway was dark because it had motion detectors. I guess that's how they saved electricity. So we're sitting there, and we're bullshitting, chewing the rag, whatever. and I hear like the door shut in the hallway around the corner, and I'm just thinking, there's somebody else in the power tower, some band member or something going into this room, and I hear footsteps, click clack. Not thinking anything of it, still talking. Hey, what's going on? And then at one point, I just glance over at the doorway. The door's open, the light shining into the hallway, and I see this shadow walk past the door, and it was almost the same height as the door, but it was wearing a hat, like I don't know, like bigger than, like, what would you call those, derby hats, like not a derby hat, but more like a kind of like Spy versus Spy. I don't know if you remember that. Kind of like a hat like that. It was like oversized, but a very distinct shadow. It wasn't fuzzy on the edges or anything, and it just walked past the door. I just opened my mouth and stared at it, and my band members recognized that something was wrong. They asked me what's going on. So I stood up and said, I don't know. Walked to the door, looked to the right because that's where this thing would have walked. And at the end of the hallway, I think there was a stairway going down, but you didn't hear the door open. You didn't hear the steps anymore, and there was nobody there. And they were like, "What did you see?" And I told them, and yeah, that was it, dude. I was talking to Rye about it when we first met up. He said, "What kind of experience you have?" I told him. He said, "Dude, that's a Hat Man." And I was like, "So I guess I've seen Hat Man." That was one of my experiences. Yes.
Wow, I've heard similar stories. My cousin had seen something similar to that, like a hat man. He said he saw like a hat figure or a man, the hat with some kind of glowing eyes. So, that was kind of creeping me out when you were telling me that.
Yeah, I didn't see any glowing eyes. At least I don't remember seeing glowing eyes, but I distinctly remember a tall, looked like a male that felt male. I mean, you can't really tell gender in a shadow, I guess, but didn't do like, "Hey, dude, look at me." It didn't do anything like that, but it was like you just see this thing, and it just walked casually right past the door, and it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it before or since.
That's interesting, man. It is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are going back and forth, right?
Yeah,
Right? What
yeah.
you got?
Rise.
All right.
I'm saving my my closer for the end.
All right.
I love it, man. You know what? It was dropping over here once in a while, but I know you guys are doing your part on that side, so I think it's picking up better on your side, I have to say.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues with your audio or our audio coming in, so there won't be any problems. So we can definitely use our audio. Um, yeah. So on my side, another one would be we'll go with working in my basement. Couple say about 4 or 5 years ago, I was finishing my basement in my house, and to say that I have experiences with ghosts and the paranormal is an understatement. I see a lot of stuff all the time, and it just becomes natural. So I'm working in my basement, and out of the corner of my eye, I can see a gentleman working behind me, and I could describe him down to a T. And I know that there's no one there in the basement working with me, right? So he is a this guy's about my height, about 5'10", and he's got a plaid shirt on. He's got a kind of very similar to mine. Uh, but he has a plaid shirt on with blue stripes on it. He is wearing wire rim glasses that are kind of oversized. So we're looking maybe like 1970s. I'm picking 1970s from this. He had salty. Oops, sorry, apologize for the car driving by and honking his horn. So he had salty, like dirty blonde hair, which it was longer, it was kind of straight and longer, came over his ears. He had whitish denim jeans, not whitish, but just really a light colored denim jean, pulled up pretty high. So he had his plaid shirt tucked in, and he was sitting behind me working. Like I not sitting behind me. He was standing behind me working in the basement, and from that, I can pick that out that he's either a what do they call that? Like a reoccurring kind of loop. Someone's stuck in a loop.
I know what you mean. It's not the intelligent kind, but the kind that yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
their energy just repeats.
The energy just repeats. That is the feeling that I got from this. I didn't get anything bad feeling or anything from this individual working behind me. And like I said, I can describe it down to a T. And if you've seen Alec Baldwin from Beetlejuice.
That's exactly what I was thinking, dude.
Really?
Oh my god! I swear, residual energy. By the way, that's
energy.
the one I was trying.
Yes.
I swear, I was like, dude, you're describing Alec Baldwin from Beetlejuice.
Almost down to a T, looked like that. Almost. Yes, his hair was lighter. He looked more like the guy from the movie Stargate. I don't know if you've seen the movie Stargate. Whereas the scientist guy in the movie Stargate looked very similar to him, but dressed like Alec Baldwin from Beetlejuice. Yeah, and this was 1970s. My house was built in the 70s, and so I'm guessing that this guy was either the homeowner or carpenter who built the house.
Wow, that's interesting, man. I don't know what to say about that one. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Did you go? Huh?
No, he couldn't leave the door because of the what are those snakes from Beetlejuice? Remember those the
sandworms.
The sandworms.
Yeah,
yes.
man. I like that.
But yeah, no, it was strange. Like I will say, the amount of experiences that I have with paranormal and ghosts is, like I said, I've told Tom, like I see things all the time, and you can get good feelings, bad feelings, or none. Like you don't get anything, and that was what I felt with this entity that was behind me, or this residual energy, where it's just you put so much energy into a place that literally you kind of imprint on it. That's kind of what it is. Residual energy is like an imprint, and it's not necessarily the ghost. It's just kind of, if you're lucky, you can catch a glimpse of what is going on. That it's just
like
kind
if you put something in your trash folder on your desktop. It's not on the desktop anymore, but it's still kind of there. I told you I'm good at technology. Don't you dare ever say that again.
Oh my god! Yeah, I would say okay. It's still there, but it's not there. That's the best way to say it. It's kind of like a very out of focus kind of thing that it's just a loop. It's just something that plays on a loop. It just keeps going, and that is what I feel that was. Now, why don't?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I guess
that's awesome, man. I love hearing it.
Are you just like okay, all right. I'm so used to our format that I'm messing up myself.
Yeah, go right ahead, guys.
Yeah. So this is an exclusive.
Hey, that's what editing's all about.
Yeah. So this happened to me 2 days ago. 2 days ago, and it freaked me out, dude. So I sleep. I built basically a wooden cabin shack, kind of, I guess you would say, in the woods here, and so I sleep in a hammock, and I get up about 4 o'clock. The sun gets up here rises here. Excuse me, is about 5.
Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah, something like that. I'm up at 4, and I'm going to the bathroom, and I lay back down in the hammock, and I'm just about to go back into La La Land. I mean, just like right on the edge. And on my left ear, I hear distinctly a person. It's a female voice. It's not Spanish, because Spanish has a certain rhythm to it. I didn't distinctly hear English, but I know it's not Spanish. It was just like a whispering, and I guess I'll give you a little taste of what it sounded like. It was just like, and I literally freaked me out, and I like punched to my left side in that direction, and I just woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And that happened literally 2 days ago.
Wow, really? Two days ago?
2 days ago.
Wow, man.
I think if stuff started happening to me.
That's pretty creepy.
I'm going to blame Rye for this, because we started doing this podcast, and ever since then, and the things have just been kind of happening. I've had a rock thrown at me out there, or not at me, but near me. And I've heard something that sounded like a cat, but I don't think it was a cat in the woods, because my cat roams around in the woods, and I think it was trying to call me out there. And I was like, yeah, I've seen this movie. So there's been things happening out there where I live too.
And then you saw the light too, remember? You saw the light.
Yeah, it could have been a lightning bolt, kind of, because like the lightning bolts kind of flashed in this distance, and maybe I seen something, but it was definitely kind of weird. Something, yeah, I forgot about that. Shot across the path.
Interesting.
So there's been things happening to me out there. Rye?
Well, I can actually
15 love.
15 love. Okay, I got one more story I'll share with you. So we can I don't want to take up too much of your time. This one I know I've shared with Tom though, and this one I think I shared in the opening our
Introduction.
opening
Yeah,
introduction
yeah.
episode on our podcast was when it was pretty much my first experience of strangeness, and this was I was in fourth grade, grade four, and
This is the one with all the push-ups, right?
no, yes, we had these in elementary school. We had this it was called Canada Fitness, and you had to reach certain levels, and if you did, you got these like bronze, silver, gold, or excellent badges, and you always push to get the excellent badges, and it was so to say, I was trying to achieve this excellence badge, and we're doing this run. So I'm doing this run. I am so fourth grade would be 10 years old, around 10 years old. I'm running this race, and I'm with the faster group of kids, and they're a little bit ahead of me. And I'm like, well, I got to push harder because you know I want this. I want this excellence because it doesn't mean anything in the long run, but I wanted it. So when I did this, when I pushed myself, I shot straight out of the top of my body. So at this moment, I am watching everybody run, and I can't remember if I said that. I think it was about 10. I'd say 10 feet up above the air. Like I'm floating up of everybody. I see everybody running. I see myself running. And at that point that I see myself running, I have a realization that I'm seeing myself running. And it was at that point, then it was like right back into my body. It was maybe a second or two where I was out. And it was crazy. And we're right at the finish line. So I finish, and what do? I start telling everybody what just happened. And of course,
They all believe. Of course, they all believed you.
of
Like,
course they
right,
all believe me because
that a boy.
everybody is
That
weird and strange
right.
like
That happened
us.
to me last week when I was swimming at my uncle's house.
So exactly. So everybody's like, "You're weird. That didn't happen. You're lying." And it was kind of at that point where, I think I kind of block some things off because people think you're weird, people think you're strange, and they don't want to be your friend if you tell them this crazy stuff. So maybe I should put a damper on that. So yeah, that happened when I was 10 years old, and to this day I still remember. I remember some of the people I told too, and like I should call them up and like, remember when I told you this in fourth grade?
Yeah. Hey, Mark.
How do you like me now?
Hey, Mark Schmitz, you've been marked.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience, and it was once I had self-awareness, self-awareness
Yeah.
of that I was above my body and I could see myself running. That's when it ended. It was just like back in running normal.
That's pretty crazy, man. All right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
You always remember the crazy stuff from your past.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So when I was 8 years old, I had to live with my family. We had to move in shortly with my grandmother, and she lived in a row home in Baltimore City, and that's where I'm from originally, Baltimore, Maryland. And it was a 3-bedroom house, row home. When you go up the steps, it's in the middle of the house, not in the middle, but more like a third towards the front of the house. Wait a minute. We are in Mexico, guys. This is real. and, and yeah, so it was like
that's the thing, keeping it real.
Well, when keeping it real goes wrong, and so it was like like I said, the steps go up, and on the left side is where my grandmother and her husband slept. Then you go to the right, there's one bedroom, and then you go behind that bedroom. It's in a row, and it's not a hallway. You have to literally go through the room, and then there's another bedroom. That's the one me and my sister stayed in. I was 8, she was 6, 7, and then behind that there is a bathroom where the toilet and the tub and all that is. So, and my mother and my father both were previously married, and my mother had a daughter in her previous marriage, and she had partial custody like every other weekend or every weekend for a while. So she would come out, my older sister would come out and stay with us on the weekends sometimes. And I had my own bed in one side of the room, and they had their bed on the other side of the room. So they would sleep together in the same bed, my younger and my older sister. And every time she would come over, like shit would happen, dude. Like it started with like the lights flickering on and off in the bedroom, um, and freaking me out and freaking them out. Then it got stranger. Like there was literally shoes being thrown around the room. I was being struck by shoes while in the bed. And every time this would happen, my little sister was for some reason brave, and they were both braver than me. To be honest with you, I was a little bee. Um, so like my little sister would go downstairs and tell my parents, and they're like, having a party, going crazy, having a good time. And they're like, go upstairs. You guys are just, messing around or whatever. And she would come up the steps. They don't believe us. And I'm like, oh my God. So we would try to turn the lights off and go to sleep again. And other things would happen. Like at one point, I'm laying in this bed and it's beside the wall. And this hand, I felt like a hand reached up between the bed and the wall and literally like put its hand on my chest. And I freaking jumped out of the bed and freaking out. And then the lights would flicker off again. And then my sister would ran down the steps and they're like, just stop messing around and go to bed. So I'm standing in the doorway in the room, and she's coming through the second bedroom. And the door swung into the room I was standing in, which is the one we were in, of course. And I'm saying through the door frame, so what did they say? And as I say that, the door swings past my face and slams shut in front of her face. And I'm just petrified. She opens the door and says, "Did you slam the door in my face?" I said, "No." I'm scared stiff. She turns me around and walks me back to my bed, tucks me in, and then goes back to her bed. And then shoes are still flying. And there's one point I do remember, like, so there's a sheet on me because you feel safer under the sheets, of course. And like, there's like, I felt like there was like air or something was blowing up the sheets, but there was no like fan blowing on me. It was just the weirdest damn thing, dude. And that kind of like, and that's probably why I'm dealing with anxiety and depression when I got older. I still deal with it, but I deal with it better, because like parents don't believe you, and I, my sister was on one of our episodes, episode 5, Leprechaun Lincoln. Uh, it's a very funny story if you ever get a chance to listen to it. And she like completely corroborated the story and everything because this really happened to me, and so it's always been kind of an interest of mine ever since then. And then moving down here to Mexico and running into Rye, we just kind of naturally like I'm that kind of person who likes to test people and see what they're about. And Rye was like, "Yeah, dude," and his stories are. He's told me stuff that he's never said on the podcast, and that's always confidential between me and him. And I'm sure eventually these things will come up. But he has a lot more stories. But that's my ace in the hole: shoes being thrown at me and being touched by a demon.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I'm in the same boat. I had a few other things happen to me even when I was a child, and other things I never have shared yet because I'm just not ready to share those things.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always find it, I don't know, like there's things in my life that I will never share with anybody, of course. But when it comes to those kind of things, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess it's easier to share them now because I think people are just, with all this soft disclosure, whatever the hell that is from the government, which I don't believe in at all. I think they're just setting us up for something else. That's my conspiracy little part of it here. I just think it's easier to say these
Yeah,
kind of things, man. And there's another part, like you just get it off your chest, say what you want to say, and just let the chips fall where they may. And if you like me, fine. If you don't like me, fine. If you think I'm a weirdo, fine. But the only time maybe
But
I
you
wouldn't,
are.
yeah,
But
of
you
course,
are.
I'm a big old weirdo with a capital W. Look in the dictionary, you see my dumb face. But I don't know, unless there's somebody else involved in it that doesn't want to say it, you know what I'm saying? Then no. But other than that, it's just me, a personal thing. I just say everything.
Like, and I agree. It's not like I go around telling people this stuff, but I really don't care anymore. Though it's kind of like if something comes up where it's ghost or paranormal, or I'll be like, yeah, here's some stories, and I'll just start dishing them out. Like maybe one of these times I'll go into my
I never told you this, but you did freak me out a little bit the first time I met you.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I got some land out here too, dude. Let's go check out my land." I was like, "Sure, dude, that's awesome." We go out there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, I seen a shadow person right over there." And I've just met this guy, and I'm like, okay. I'm not really. I mean, let's have a little more of a time before we start sharing. But that's true. Rye did that, and I don't know. I guess he kind of like brought me out of my shell too, and I just realized that he was just such a great orator. He's just a great speaker. It's very Canadian, and you also have an interesting accent too, Blake. Did you know
I
that?
sound like
Did
I
you
have
know,
an
Blake, you have an
accent, huh?
interesting accent? Yeah, you like I always say this a little bit behind baseball, but like I'm not making fun of you, but it was something we were having a podcast together. We were also like the very beginning of our podcast. You were so kind to come on and help us out, and we're just returning the favor. We owe you one. And you kept
Oh, I
saying,
appreciate it.
for some reason, you kept saying the word cannon. You kept saying cannon instead of canyon, and I don't know if that's just maybe like a way that the people in Oregon say that.
Yeah, Oregon. A lot of people call it Oregon, so it's
Is that
Oregon. And it's I've always been told that too, and I thought it was interesting because I was born and raised in Oregon, and I've always had quite a little bit
uh-huh?
of a accent to it. People thought I was a Southern or something like that, and I go, no. So I don't know. Maybe it's in my DNA. I don't know. So it's hard to
I'd
say.
say you sound very laid back though. You sound
Yeah,
very laid back. That I admire about
and
you. You're very laid back.
that beard. I don't know if your listeners have seen many pictures of you, but that beard is just something to behold. Do you get like pieces of pizza stuck in that thing, or
Oh,
what?
here and there I'll get a chip crumb or something in there, and so yeah, it's hard to take care of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just, yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, if we're gonna interview each other, yeah, I think we were just of the belief, like the more that the listeners know who you are, like the more they find you interesting and the reason why you do the things you do,
Mhm.
I think the more they're going to want to listen. And I don't know how you feel about
Oh,
that.
I agree with you 100%. I feel that, the way to get comfortable with this is just being comfortable. Don't hold back, like I've done that myself. I was afraid to talk to people about what I believe in and what I'm into, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna just say what I believe. Yeah, I believe in Bigfoot. Yeah, I believe we got ghosts. Yeah, I believe in aliens. I believe all these things because I, witnessed a few things myself, and I don't think anybody's making all this up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
No.
there's too many people to say, oh, they're making it up. And granted, there's going to be some people out there who are making it up. Whether they're doing it maliciously or maybe there's something kind of a
Yeah, they're like
little,
maybe clout chasing or something for some reason. There's people who will
yeah,
do that.
or there's people who are just maybe mentally unstable and create these stories because their mind is creating these realities. But that being said, I'm not discrediting anybody that we have interviewed so far. Everybody's been on the up and up, in my opinion. And if some people want to doubt that, that's their choice. That's your choice as our listeners or as your listeners, to question it if they want to. And I actually have a question for you, Blake. So, what brought you into podcasting? What was your I want to be this podcaster or I want to do this show?
it just right going to what Tom said there when I say canon. I was sitting out in the cannon, and I was doing YouTube videos, man. So yeah, I was doing YouTube videos for a while, I was into off grid living and I was like thinking, this is not what I want to do. I want to get back, into what I'm really interested in is, Bigfoot. 'Cause I've always been interested in Bigfoot. And I started listening to podcasts, like we listen similar podcasts we listen to, like the Confessionals and Sasquatch Chronicles and so on. Um, I never listened to podcasts
Right.
before, right?
Sure.
So I was just like, I gave it a try, and I found it interesting. And when I was hearing all these people's stories, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot more out there than what we're seeing on TV, because you don't know what's real on TV. Um, so what really got me into is I'm good at talking with people. My wife's always told me that, and some other relatives says you're good at talking with people or listening. I'm good on both. I'll listen and I'll ask questions later. And sometimes I don't need to ask questions because they answered it already, you know? So, but what really got me into is I want to get to the truth, you know? I want to get the truth and experience it a little more myself and, you know, just prove it to people. There's some things going on. So we got to get out there. I hope that answered your question.
I agree. I think that was very well. Yeah, I think that was very well said, very well spoken, and I agree with you. You know, it's just we want to get to the truth, and it's kind of like I want to hear people's stories. And that was one of the things for myself was, you know, I'm hearing these stories on these other podcasts, and they're fascinating. But why can't I do that? Why can't people tell me those stories? You know, why I would love to be like the in the front line listening to these people tell these stories, and that's one of the main reasons. You know, I love listening to people, love talking to people, and I love hearing their stories.
I guess for me it was a bit different. Like I've been a musician for many number of years. I've been a comedian for many number of years, and for me it was just a natural progression. So it's combining a skill set that I've already honed over the years with being, I guess, an entertainer, for lack of a better word, with something that I'm very interested in, and I enjoy listening to it. Myself, I started, you know, I'm a big fan of like Tinfoil Hat, and I always liked what do you call those? My brain is blanking. Conspiracy theories. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, yes.
Conspiracy theories, and why not? And I think they're just all kind of connected between conspiracy theories and cryptids and paranormal. Cryptids are more later, but definitely the paranormal and conspiracies. And I just, you know, it was just a natural progression for me. And then running into Rye was a very fortuitous moment for me. So I was just like, yeah, this is perfect. You know, it's like he's a very good, well-spoken. He's very good at like reading and talking at the same time. I can't do that. I'm just a mess, but I'm very good at like interjecting and adding things to it, and hopefully asking good questions so that the people that we interview feel comfortable with talking with us.
Well, what I've heard so far, guys, is that you're doing really well on your podcast. I've listened to almost all of them. I need to go back and listen to the one with your sister. I missed that one. Yeah, I think you guys are doing well.
Leprechaun
Yeah, I'll
Lincoln.
go back and listen to it. And you guys are doing good. What I'm hearing is keeping me on edge and listening to these people's stories. And yeah, it's just awesome. You guys got a good platform going, and it's like you said earlier, right? We're a little different on both sides, which is what it's got to be about. We all got to do our own little taste, you know, and it's awesome. We all got our own little method, and it's going well. And I'm not going to give up, and I don't think you guys are going to give up either. Just keep going.
You know, exactly. You know, like the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, we got our way, you got your way, and you know, we're both supporting each other, and I think it's fantastic. You know, and I think we're both having good success, and I wish you all that success in the future as well.
It was the same thing like when I started with a band. You know, you would be in a band and you playing this music, and then like you see another band that just started, and like, man, you guys are doing it different, but it's awesome. And it's not only a feeling of like, oh, I'm doing something cool too, and I'm enjoying it, but I enjoy seeing other people being successful as well at what they do and what they love to do. So more power to you, dude. Like I love I love the stuff that you're doing. I like the way your interviewing style is different, of course, but I mean, we're going to get there too, of course, but your audio quality, dude, is fantastic.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I don't, that might sound like a slight if you're kind of a weird person, but for me, when I listen to it, it's very easy to listen to, and your voice is very soothing, and it's also very deep like mine, so I kind of like it too.
Yeah, you know, that's what it's about, right? You guys got a good sound to you too, and it sounds good too for what you're doing. And I have to say, it both sounds like great quality. So, and you know, all I'm doing is plugging in and going, guys, and you guys are doing the same thing, and it's going good, man.
You got is that Cujo in the back there? What's going on there, dude?
That's his German Shepherds. Remember, he raised German Shepherds. He has about you got about 6 of them or something like that, I think.
I got like 8.
8. Yes. See, I knew you had a bunch because you kept the litter, right? You kept the litter from during COVID.
Was he a breeder? Oh no, because of COVID.
Yeah. Right. I got yeah, I got an army of them. Right now, she's barking at me because she thinks I'm some threat. I'm in my, truck doing my studio. Like, come on, girl,
I can hear her through the door.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we really appreciate you having us on, Blake. It was great, and like we said, we wish you the best, and if you ever need any help or anything, look us up.
Will do, guys. Well,
For
well,
sure.
I guess we'll end it here, but we'll talk a little bit after we hit that stop button. So you guys want to plug anything in before we end?
Well, just like we said, if anybody, you can find us on Spotify, the Lost Frequency Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Rye Voss, or
Tom Franklin. You can also contact us on email by with the email
Lost
address
Frequency
Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
Like I said, we're on TikTok under at TLF at the moment, but
TLF Podcast.
Yeah,
so,
T.L.F.
Yeah, TLF Podcast.
We're also on YouTube.
TLF Podcast.
Yeah, man, we're just if any of your listeners want to contact us, feel free to contact us, and yeah, maybe you'll also be on the Lost Frequency. I like doing the radio voice.
It is fun doing the radio voice. That's another reason why I got into it.
Yeah, do you like doing the 1950s radio voice? That was much more fun.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to say thanks to Rye and Tom coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And like I said, guys, you can check them out on all sports platforms. And, biggest things all, they're Lost Frequency. Check them out, guys. Anyways, if you had an encounter, if you'd like to be on the show, please email me at mountainmanett@gmail.com. Again, mountainmanett@gmail.com. Or you can private message me on Facebook. Look for Blake Botel, Botel. Thanks for listening to the show, guys. Until next time, let's explore the truth together.